Hey everyone, good to see you on this beautiful, cool, sunny day here in Michigan. And today let's talk about the challenge, the relationship and emotional side of getting K1 visa and waiting for K1 visa to process, and kind of experience that wait. And it's truly a challenge for a relationship of a couple. It's a challenge in many ways, emotional, practical, often financial, but most of all it's a challenge of having enough patience and understanding and supporting each other. I really believe it's one of those things. If you make it through the wait process, gathering the documents process, finishing up the business, for Ukrainian lady in Ukraine, whatever she was doing, it's one of those things where you have to be wise, you have to be patient, and you have to understand the deeper purpose of it and why it's worth the wait. I think in America, people, for example, people who travel a lot, they are somewhat spoiled because when you have American passport, to the most countries you do not need visa, or it's not that hard to get visa. And for Ukrainians, it's as you might already know, a very serious thing. It's a big deal to travel and get visa, especially to US or England or any other country like that. It's a process. And another benefit, guys, of this process is that I don't watch a lot of TV, but all you see on TV is how things are horrible, everything terrible. The country is divided in two parts, maybe in three parts, in political views, and people consistently talking about how awful everything is. And yet, there are people that need to do so much in order just to get started, just to even try that opportunity. So that kind of gives you an insight, when you see an accomplished Ukrainian, Russian, or any other Slavic woman or family that came here and basically start over from zero. Some people come here in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Think about how much they had to overcome. Some people are already freaking out when they see the paperwork for K1 and the wait and the money that often they have to pay to the lawyers. And I believe there are some other fees that you pay to the government. I think I don't want to lie, so because things have been changing, but I believe it was around $1,000 or so. What I'm trying to say is that you realize how much you really have, regardless of your political points of view, of your social status. You realize you can get your passport and go across the globe. 90% of countries do not have visa for you, or you don't need to file K1 visa, like become somebody's fiancé to even be able to visit. So that's just like a side note, but keep that in mind, how much it takes to get accustomed here, to even get here, to be legal here. And it's a big challenge. So one of the things, guys, I want you to always remember, great things are worth the wait. Once your paperwork is complete, whether you're working with a lawyer or you completing K1 visa petition yourself, it's almost like compare it with the birth of a child. We all want to have the child right away. Some of us want to have a child being already 5 years old, so we don't have to do the, the diaper deal, or, wake up at night. But it doesn't work like that. So I would say with a K1 visa, with a fiancé visa, you just have to be patient. You have to realize that yes, it takes a long time. I think it's extended now as of 2018 to 7 months, and it can take a while. It takes a while to file it and all of that. But if you do the K1 visa right, it's about 99.9% success rate. So coming back to the child project, you, no matter how good you are or how wonderful your wife is, it's gonna take 9 months to get that child, and you want it to be 9 months because you don't want the premature child. But you already know it's worth the wait. You already know it's a child from somebody you care about, right? And you don't want to be in a hurry. You don't want to any complications. You don't want to be angry at anybody, and you want to keep your temper. And you can get upset about the government, the immigration, but this is just how things are. So my best advice to you guys is just to realize the challenge, and just look at it as a project that have a great success rate. You need to be patient, and at this very time your lady going to actually look at your patience, look how you deal with challenge. She will need your financial, well, maybe financial too, but she will need definitely your emotional support during this time, because she's going to be the one that will have to run around and look for information and for documents and papers. If she's anything like me or any other person that doesn't like paperwork and bureaucracy, it's a challenging time. You feel like you want to quit. You feel like it doesn't worth it. Also, you feel is that why is that people need to check basically under your nails. It's sort of, I remember when I was going through that process, it was kind of affecting my self-worth, because I felt like, why in the world I have to prove myself so much? Why in the world I have to go through this, all the scanning of background, health checks, everything, even information on my parents, information on my private life. It was just so uncomfortable. I felt investigated, and I felt like I don't even want to be there that much. I'm not doing the visa because I necessarily want to be in US. I have another reason. And remember having a couple breakdowns because I belong to that group of people that absolutely hates any kind of paperwork and the stress that comes with it, because it's such a time waster. Plus, you have some medical things, and you have to go get the criminal records, and you kind of feel like you are not good enough. You're not trusted. You have to prove yourself so much. And when in your regular lives it's not who you are, when you have confidence, you don't understand why it sometimes feel kind of humiliating and so forth. But that's me just sharing with you how it could be for your lady. So your goal is to support her during this time, instead of rushing her, instead of complaining about the government, about the Democrats and Republicans and the country going to hell and blah blah blah. Instead of that, think about, all right, we're gonna go through that. It will show us that we can go through challenge. I am sorry that I am not there right now. I wish I could be there right now and go with you to maybe support you when you have American embassy interview. I wish that I could, be with you during this time and help you with going to all these places and getting all this paperwork. But I'm here. If you're in the US, you can say, I'm here. I'm working on us being together. I'm preparing the house. I'm looking for opportunities for you, what you can do here when you come. I'm looking forward to taking you certain places, to taking you to maybe, you know, vacation, you know, whatever that could be. But you absolutely have to be supportive. Even though you might be the person that needs support, as a man, as a leader, you gotta support her. You absolutely have to support your woman during the times that it's all new to her. She only knows about US via movies, you know, and stories of other people. She doesn't know even where she's going and what is going to happen. She doesn't know first thing about the bureaucracy, about, you know, federal regulations and all of that. So you are her window. You are basically her window to this world where she's about to move. So that's your first chance to show up as a leader, as a supporter, and calm her down. And when she has breakdowns because she doesn't have enough of documents, and they often change the rules, by the way, in the embassy. So even, you know, once she passes all the documents and they're all submitted and she'll need to have an appointment, I highly recommend check things on Ukrainian American Embassy in Ukraine website, because everything supposed to be done just certain way. I remember when I was leaving, our lawyer had one information, but then on the website they already updated for a different information. At first you were supposed to bring $100, like for example, and pay your fee at the embassy, your appointment fee, and then they changed it that you need to go to a specific bank and have a receipt with you when you are going to for an appointment. So if I if I would not know that somebody actually advised me and look up the American Embassy in Ukraine website, and this is where I saw that update that you're supposed to have a receipt from a particular bank before you go for an appointment. And if I wouldn't done it, even my lawyer once again didn't know that. So if I wouldn't have checked it, they would not take me that day. They would not let me in. This is how serious it is to follow every little tiny steps that you have to follow. So it would have been a absolutely devastating experience if I would do all this work and preparation and being a bit nervous, and I come to the embassy and they say, oh, you don't have a receipt for your payment, we don't accept cash, so you have to reschedule. We're gonna reschedule, and God knows when that appointment would happen and what are the rules for rescheduling. So it's all complicated. So you gotta be a supporter and you have to look for updates because you are native. It's easier for you to look up information in English. If you're hiring a lawyer, make sure that the lawyer or paralegal is completely up to date. In my next videos, I'm gonna give you some information on the embassy, on passing interview at the American Embassy, and a lot of K1 information and long distance relationship information is going to be on my Patreon page, which is I'll put the link below, and it's the shortest and the best way to get into my VIP group so you can have some support and knowledge shared with you. Thank you so much, guys, and I will see you next time.